everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Lavanya. In the previous video lecture, we had solved 3 problems on book profit, eligible remuneration and business income under section 184. We had also solved one problem on association of persons under section 185. Please refer to the previous video lecture before watching this video lecture. Today, let's solve 14 marks problems by calculating tax liability as well as total income of the firm. Let us start problem number 7. Alpha, Beta and Gamma are working partners of ABG Company Limited. So sharing profits and losses in the ratio of 3:2:1 and profit and loss account for the year ended 31st March 2019 is given here. Now we have purchases, salary and wages, depreciation, salary to partners, expenses, general expenses, interest on capital, commission, and we have net profit of rupees 3,91,500. So on the credit side of profit and loss account, we have sales, closing stock, interest on drawings, government securities, long-term capital gain. So in the adjustment, closing stock is undervalued by 20%. So we have an adjustment for closing stock. Let me mark here. And general expenses include a donation of rupees 10,000 to Mata Vaishno Devi, an approved charitable trust. So the general expense given on the debit side of profit and loss account includes 10,000 given as donation. Next point is depreciation allowable as per section 32 is 1,30,000. But depreciation which we have in profit and loss account is rupees 1,50,000. Now next point is brought forward unabsorbed depreciation. So we'll come back to this point at a later stage. Now we have purchases which include one bill of rupees 30,000 which was paid in cash. So we have an adjustment for purchases as well. The firm has fulfilled all the conditions prescribed under section 184. Okay. So payment of interest, salary and commission is as per partnership deed. Okay. So next point is interest on drawings from partners is also as per the deed. So interest on drawings given in the problem is as per the deed and they have not given us any specific rate and hence this will be considered as allowable income. So they have asked us to calculate book profit, eligible remuneration, business income, total income and tax liability of the firm. So let us calculate book profit first. So we have net profit of rupees 3,91,500. So net profit as per profit and loss account is 3,91,500. We will add all the inadmissible expenses given on the debit side of profit and loss account. So we have purchase in the problem. Purchase has an adjustment here. Purchase include rupees 30,000. One bill of rupees 30,000 which was paid in cash. Under section 40A subsection 3 of Income Tax Act 1961, any expenditure in excess of rupees 20,000 shall be disallowed if it is paid by any mode other than an account payee check or bank draft. Since this value is paid in cash, complete 30,000 will be treated as inadmissible expense. So purchase paid in cash 30,000 will be treated as inadmissible value. So next point is salary and wages. Salary and wages paid to employees will be admissible. But salary and wages paid to the partners is inadmissible. So whenever they give you in the question, if it is paid to an employee, then it is admissible and they will specifically mention in the problem stating that the salary is given to partner and the salary which is given to partner will be treated as inadmissible value. So 1,08,000, 96,000 and 84,000 will be considered as inadmissible value. We also have commission which is part of remuneration. So to the extent of 50,000 will also be treated as inadmissible expense. So remuneration to partners 1,08,000, 96,000, 84,000 plus 50,000 total 3,38,000 will be treated as inadmissible value. So now we have also considered salary, commission in the problem. Now let us look into depreciation. Depreciation has an adjustment. The profit and loss account value is 1,50,000, but depreciation allowable as per section 32 is 1,30,000. So whatever we have on the debit side of profit and loss account will be treated as inadmissible value, and whatever is given in the adjustment will be treated as admissible value. So depreciation 1,50,000 is inadmissible expense, and admissible expense to the extent of 1,30,000. You can also directly show 20,000 here, that is 1,50,000 minus 1,30,000. Both the ways you can solve. Okay, in the next problem I will try to solve another method. So next point which we have in the question is general expense. So general expense is 2 lakh rupees. General expense is a regular expense to the firm, but we have an adjustment. General expense include donation of rupees 10,000 paid to an approved charitable trust. So we will consider donation value of rupees 10,000. So next point is interest on capital. They have given interest at the rate 15%, but to the extent of 12% is allowable. Whatever exceeds 12% will be inadmissible. So the value which is exceeded here is 3%. So this 3% will be treated as inadmissible expense. So interest on capital in excess of 12%, alpha 10,500 into out of 15%, 3% is inadmissible. So 10,500 into 3 by 15, 2,100. For beta 9,000 into 3 by 15, that is 1,800. For gamma it is 6,000 into 3 by 15, 1,200. So after summing up all the inadmissible expenses, we will get 5,33,100. So the net profit value which we have in the problem is 3,91,500. Adding the value of 5,33,100, we will get 9,24,600. So now we have considered all the items on the debit side of profit and loss account. Let us look into the credit side. We have sales, which is business value. We have closing stock. Closing stock has an adjustment. Closing stock is undervalued by 20%. That means 2,40,000 into 20 by 100 minus 20. Since they have undervalued, let us add it back. So add undervaluation of closing stock 2,40,000 into 20 divided by 80. The value we get is 60,000 rupees. So interest on drawings we have already discussed. Since they have not given a specific rate, and as it is mentioned, it is as per the deed, we will ignore this point. Now next point we have here is interest on government securities as well as long-term capital gain. Now both interest on government securities and long-term capital gain is non-business income. Since they have credited the values of non-business income on the credit side of profit and loss account, we have to deduct the value. So non-business income, interest on government securities 5,000, long-term capital gain 3 lakh rupees. So total of these two values comes to 3,05,000. So 9,24,600 less 3,05,000. The value which we get is 6,19,600. We also have admissible value of 1,30,000. If you deduct the value, we will get 4,89,600. As we have already calculated undervaluation of closing stock, the amount of 60,000 will be added back, and the value which we get is 5,49,600. So in the problem we have brought forward unabsorbed depreciation of rupees 1,45,000. Now let us deduct that unabsorbed depreciation value here, 1,45,000. So if you deduct 1,45,000 from 5,49,600, you will get 4,49,600 4,600 as book profit. So now we have calculated book profit. Let us move to eligible remuneration. Eligible remuneration is actual remuneration or maximum limit, whichever is less. So your actual remuneration which we have in the problem is 3,38,000. So we have considered 3,38,000 here. Or maximum limit is on first 3 lakh we will calculate at the rate 90%, and the value which we get is 2,70,000, or we have to compare with 1,50,000. So 2,70,000 or 1,50,000, whichever is higher. So which is higher now? 2,70,000, right? So we have considered 2,70,000 here. Plus on the remaining balance you will calculate at the rate 60%. So we have book profit of rupees 4,04,600, which we have considered here. Also we have considered first 3 lakh. So minus 3 lakh, the remaining balance is 1,04,600. On this standard value of 60% if you calculate, the value which we get is 62,760. So adding up these two values we will get 3,32,760. So our eligible remuneration will be least of actual amount of remuneration or maximum limit. So 3,38,000 or 3,32,760, whichever is less. So which is less now? 3,32,760. So this will be our eligible remuneration. Let us calculate business income. Business income is very simple. Book profit minus eligible remuneration will be your business income. So how much book profit we have? We have 4,04,600. Eligible remuneration is 3,32,760. So our business income is 71,840 rupees. So now we have calculated book profit, eligible remuneration and business income. Now let us calculate total income. Before calculating total income, let us look into the pro forma. Now we have 5 heads of income: income from salaries, income from house property, income from business or profession, capital gains, and income from other source. For the purpose of calculating partnership firm, we will not consider income from salary head. So we will consider house property income, business or profession, short-term capital gain if it is not included in securities transaction tax. That means other than short-term capital gain liable for STT. If short-term capital gain is arising out of sale of equity as per section 111A, then you cannot claim any deduction under section 80C to 80U. So that value we have considered here. So short-term capital gains liable for securities transaction tax. So we cannot claim any deduction under section 80C to 80U. Same for long-term capital gain as well. You cannot claim any deduction under section 80C to 80U as per section 112. So long-term capital gain covered under section 112 of the Act prohibits an individual from claiming tax breaks under section 80C to 80U. So the next head is income from other source. We will consider income from other source other than casual income. So if we have casual income, we will consider after calculating deduction. After deducting the deductions, we will consider casual income. Since casual income is not eligible for deduction, we will consider the casual income value after claiming the deduction. So the total value which we get is called as total taxable income. So let us compute total taxable income of the firm. So we do not have house property income in the problem. We have business income. We have calculated it just now. So 71,840. And income from other source, that is interest on government securities. So interest on government securities is 5,000. So let us consider that 5,000 here. So adding up the business income and interest on government securities, we will get 76,840 as gross total income. We have deduction under section 80. We have 80G deduction. So general expenses include donation of rupees 10,000 given to Mata Vaishno Devi, an approved charitable trust. So whenever the donation is given to approved charitable trust, we will consider only 50% of the value. That is 10% of adjusted GTI or actual donation whichever is less. So 50% of 10% of adjusted GTI. Now what is adjusted GTI? Adjusted GTI is nothing but the actual GTI minus long-term capital gain and short-term capital gain. So GTI must not include long-term capital gain and short-term capital gain, since it is not eligible for any deduction. Now we have not considered long-term capital gain and we do not have short-term capital gain in the problem. So your GTI is your adjusted GTI. So we have calculated 10% of 76,840, that is actual GTI which we have here, or 10,000 which is our actual donation in the problem. So if you calculate 76,840 into 10%, you will get 7,680, and you will compare with 10,000, which is less now, 7,680, right? So this will be calculated at 50%. So the value comes to 3,842. So this 3,842 will be considered as donation. Also we have long-term capital gain in the problem to the extent of 3 lakh. After adding long-term capital gain, the end value which we get will be called as total taxable income. So now we have also calculated total income. So we have to calculate tax liability. Before we calculate tax liability, let us look into the pro forma. We will consider 4 important heads. One is casual income, long-term capital gain, short-term capital gain, and other taxable income. Casual income is taxable at the rate 30%. Long-term capital gain is taxable at the rate 20%. Short-term capital gain, if it includes STT, then it is taxable at the rate 15%. And other taxable income is taxable at the rate 30%. So casual income at the rate 30%. Long-term capital gain at the rate 20%, short-term capital gain if it is included in STT then 15%, and other taxable income at the rate 30%. If long-term capital gain is included under transaction value of security transaction tax, then in excess of rupees 1 lakh will be taxable at the rate 10%. If short-term capital gain is not included in STT, then it is taxable under the 4th head, other taxable income. Surcharge is applicable at the rate 12% when the total income exceeds 1 crore. At present, the government charges 4% of cess on the direct income tax liable for individuals. So the value which we get at the end is called as tax on total taxable income or tax liability. So let us compute tax liability of the firm. Casual income is taxable at the rate 30%, but we do not have any casual income in the problem. Long-term capital gain at the rate 20%. We have 3 lakh long-term capital gain, which is taxable at the rate 20%, comes to 60,000. We do not have short-term capital gain in the problem. Tax on other taxable income is taxable at the rate 30%. So our business income is 71,840, which we have considered here. We have other source value of rupees 5,000. So we have also considered 5,000. So we also have deduction in the problem to the extent of 3,842. So 71,840 plus 5,000 other source value minus 3,842 donation, the value which we get is 72,998. So this is taxable at the rate 30%. So if you calculate 30% on this, the value which we get is 21,900. So 60,000 plus 21,900, we will get 81,900 value. Now since the value has not exceeded the limit, we will not calculate surcharge. We will calculate health and education cess at the rate 4%. So on 81,900, if you calculate 4%, you will get 3,276. So 81,900 plus 3,276, we will get 85,176. But this value is rounded off to the nearest 10 under section 288B. So the total tax liability is 85,180. The profit and loss account of Fashion and Others in the year ending 31st March 2019 was as under. So in the question, on the debit side of profit and loss account, we have purchases, interest on capital to partners, direct expenses, depreciation, remuneration to partners. So in this problem we have working partner as well as sleeping partner. We have sundry expenses, donation to Prime Minister National Relief Fund, and we have net profit of rupees 2,56,000. On the credit side of profit and loss account, they have given us sales value, long-term capital gain, interest on debenture and business income. So in the additional information, admissible depreciation according to IT provision is rupees 96,000. So we have an adjustment for depreciation here. Depreciation given in the profit and loss account is 1,80,000, and in the adjustment they have given us 96,000. Okay. So next point is carried forward business loss of rupees 10,000 and long-term capital loss of rupees 40,000. So the question is to compute tax payable by the firm. Okay. So they have asked us to calculate tax liability. So to calculate tax liability or tax payable value, we have to calculate book profit, eligible remuneration, business income, total income, and then we have to calculate tax liability. Okay, let us compute book profit. First of all, we have net profit of rupees 2,56,000. So net profit as per profit and loss account 2,50,000. So let us add inadmissible expenses given in the problem. We have purchases. In the first point, we don't have any adjustment for purchases in this problem, so we will ignore this since this is a business expense. Interest to partners. So interest to partners is given at the rate 20%, 24% and 20%. So we already know the values here. 12% exceeded value is inadmissible and less than 12% is admissible. So for A, they have given interest at the rate 20%. So 30,000 into 8 by 20 will be treated as inadmissible. For B, they have given as 24,000. So we have to calculate 2,20,000 into 12 by 24. That means 24 minus 12. To the extent of 12% is admissible, the exceeded value of 12% will be treated as inadmissible. So 2,20,000 into out of 24, 12% is inadmissible. Now next point is C, 70,000 at the rate 20% for C. So exceeded value is 8%. So 70,000 into 8 by 20. So summing up all the values, we will get 1,50,000. So the next point here is general expenses. So we don't have any information regarding general expense in the adjustment. So this is business expense and hence we will ignore. So next point is depreciation. Okay, so we have an adjustment for depreciation here. So whatever given in the profit and loss account, that is 1,80,000, will be considered as inadmissible and the remaining balance will be considered as admissible value. Now this is how we were solving. Now there is another method to solve this. Now I have taken that method here. 1,80,000 minus 96, directly you can take 84,000 here. If you refer previous problem, we have solved it in a different manner, and now I have taken it in a different manner. So you can choose any of the one method here. So next we have sundry expenses. Sundry expense is related to business, 98,000, and we will ignore this. Now we have not considered remuneration. Okay, how much is remuneration? For working partner it's 1,02,000. For sleeping partner it is 60,000, and for C working partner 72,000. For the purpose of calculating book profit, irrespective of whether he is working partner or sleeping partner, since they have considered the value on the debit side of the profit and loss account, we have to treat complete value as inadmissible expense. So we have considered 1,02,000, 60,000 and 72,000 here. So next point we have here is donation. Donation to Prime Minister National Relief Fund. So donation is an inadmissible expense because it is not a regular expense to the firm, and hence we will treat it as inadmissible value. So summing up all these values, we get 5,50,000. So we are adding the value to the net profit, that is 2,56,000 plus 5,50,000, we will get 8,06,000. So here on the credit side of profit and loss account, we have sales, which is related to business. We have long-term capital gain and interest on debentures. So another point we have here is business income, which is related to business, and we will ignore both sales and business income. But long-term capital gain and interest on debenture is a non-business income value. So they should not have credited these values on the credit side of profit and loss account. Since they have credited, that is they have added, we have to deduct the value as non-business income value. So long-term capital gain of rupees 5 lakh and interest on debenture of rupees 40,000. We will consider under the head other incomes credited to profit and loss account. Long-term capital gain 5 lakh, interest on debenture 40,000. So we will get 5,40,000. So if you deduct this 5,40,000 out of 8,06,000, you will get 2,66,000 as book profit. Now the first step is done. Second step is to calculate eligible remuneration. So eligible remuneration, we will consider two important points. One is actual remuneration and maximum limit. So actual remuneration of working partner is 1,02,000. B is a sleeping partner. Now under section 40B, you can claim eligible remuneration if they are working partners only. So we are not considering sleeping partner's value here. So B should not be considered because he is a sleeping partner and he is not eligible for any deductible remuneration. Now point C is working partner. So partner C has a remuneration value of rupees 72,000. So total remuneration of both A and C is 1,74,000. So actual remuneration is 1,74,000. Maximum limit is on book profit. You will calculate first at the rate of 90%. So we have book profit of rupees 2,66,000 in the problem. So on 2,66,000, if you calculate at the rate 90%, you will get 2,39,400, or you have to compare with 1,50,000, whichever is higher. Now which is higher among these two values? 2,39,400. So we have considered 2,39,400. But for calculating admissible remuneration, we have to consider the least value among actual remuneration and maximum limit. So 1,74,000 or 2,39,000, which is less now? To 1,74,000, right? So this will be your eligible remuneration. So we are done with eligible remuneration as well. Now third point we have to consider is business income. To calculate business income, we will consider two important points. One is book profit, another one is eligible remuneration. Your book profit minus eligible remuneration will be your business income. So book profit of rupees 2,66,000 we have in the problem. Eligible remuneration just now we have calculated to the extent of 1,74,000. So the value which we get is 92,000, but we have business loss in the problem. So carried forward business loss of rupees 10,000. So we have 10,000 business loss. So now we have considered that carried forward business loss of rupees 10,000 here. So 92,000 minus 10,000 will be 82,000, and this is your business income. So if they have given any information regarding business loss, then you have to deduct the value, and after deducting the value, whatever you get will be called as your business income. So next is we have to calculate total income. So we have 5 heads of income, but we will not consider salary. We do not have income from house property given in this problem, so we will ignore that. Next we have income from business. Income from business we have just calculated. So the value of income from business is 82,000 we have considered here. So we have interest on debenture to the extent of 40,000. So interest on debenture to the extent of 40,000. We are considering the other source income other than casual income in this column. So summing up these two values, we will get 1,22,000 as our GTI. So we have deduction under section 80G, donation to Prime Minister National Relief Fund. So this PMNRF, it's 100% deductible. So Prime Minister National Relief Fund, any donation given to the Prime Minister National Relief Fund, it is deductible at the rate 100%. So complete 82,000 we are deducting. So 1,22,000 minus 82,000, the remaining balance is 40,000. So we also have long-term capital gain in the problem to the extent of 5 lakh. Since long-term capital gain is not eligible for any deduction, we are considering long-term capital gain after computing the deduction value. So long-term capital gain is 5 lakh rupees. And we have long-term capital loss of 40,000 in the problem. So carried forward long-term capital loss 40,000 we have deducted here. After deducting 5 lakh minus 40,000, the value which we get is 4,60,000. So if you add all these values, 4,60,000 plus 40,000, you will get 5 lakh as total income of the firm. So let us compute tax liability of the firm, which is the actual question. Now we have 4 important heads to calculate when we are calculating tax liability. One is casual income, if there is any. Second one is short-term capital gain, long-term capital gain, and other taxable incomes. So we do not have casual income in the problem. We do not have short-term capital gain. We have long-term capital gain of rupees 5 lakh in the problem. But there is a business loss of rupees 40,000, and hence our long-term capital gain is only 4,60,000 now. So we have considered 4,60,000, and this long-term capital gain is taxable at the rate 20%. So if you calculate 20% on this, you will get 92,000. Now we have other taxable income value. That means any other taxable value which will not fall under the 3 head here will come to the 4th head, other taxable income. So whatever 40,000 we have considered is nothing but your 82,000 business income minus plus 40,000 interest on debentures, income from business and interest on debentures, minus the deduction which is given in the problem to the extent of 82,000. So the actual value we get after adding and deducting the value is 40,000. So on this 40,000 you will calculate the standard rate of 30%. So if you calculate 30%, you will get 12,000. So 92,000 plus 12,000, you will get 1,04,000. So in this problem we will not consider surcharge because the value has not exceeded the limit. Now we will add education cess, health and education cess at the rate 4%. So on 1,04,000, if you calculate at the rate 4%, the value which you get is 4,160. So the total tax liability is 1,08,160. So that's it for this lecture. Please comment below if you have any questions. We'll meet very soon in the next video lecture. Till then, happy learning. Stay tuned.